Hey there, welcome back to Tim Talks Cooking. Today we are talking keto fathead pizza dough, my friends. You heard me right, that's keto fathead pizza dough, and today we're going to make it with coconut flour. Just a variation on the last recipe I did where I made fathead dough with almond flour. This is a little bit different, but we're going to end up with a very similar result. Let's get started. Here's what you need to make a coconut flour fathead crust. Starts off with 12 ounces of freshly shredded mozzarella cheese. I shred my own because when you buy it already shredded, it often has some kind of starchy product on it to keep the shreds from sticking together. You're also going to want 2 ounces of cream cheese. I actually weigh these. This is a cup and a half. This is a quarter of a cup of cream cheese. You're also going to need a third of a cup of coconut flour and 2 large eggs. Just like the almond flour recipe, the first thing we're going to do is melt this cheese. And so this is going to take in my microwave, which is an 1100 watt microwave. It's going to take about a minute and a half. I stop it every 30 seconds or so and just give it a stir. This is going to make it easier to combine. And here's the result after a minute and a half in my microwave oven. It's hot, of course. It's nicely melted. We want to work with this relatively quickly. Our next step, it's not that hot, it doesn't burn or anything like that, is just simply to add in the coconut flour. I'm going to beat these eggs a little bit before I put them in there. There we go. And then, of course, just to continue stirring until everything is well combined. Once we get it to a certain point, we can take it out and knead it a little bit. I'm not sure that's going to be necessary. See, this seems to be coming together really, really easily here. A little bit more so than the almond flour one, which you may notice had a lot more flour in it. And here I really do want to make sure this is very well combined. Notice how clean it comes out of the bowl, right? Not to put too fine a point on it, but we do want to make sure we don't have big sections where it's just cheese and no flour or egg. And it's sticking to my board a little bit. That's not a problem. I've got my handy dandy bench scraper right here. We're just going to push that right back in there like that. Here, as you can see, I've got a piece of parchment. I'm going to place my dough on top of it. And as you can see, it's not perfectly shaped. That's all right, because we're going to just roll it out a little bit of the way and then transfer it to our pan and push it into the shape of the pan. This really just helps that process a lot. Roll this out to 1/4 or 1/8 of an inch. Or you can just try to push it into the shape of your pan as well. Now, mind you, you don't have to make one big crust out of this. You could make a number of them, really any number that you like. And here we have a roughly circular shape, right? And get this into my pan. Meanwhile, I'm preheating my oven to 400 degrees. Put that in there. And you'll see it's relatively forgiving. Here we got a little bit over the edge. I'm going to just pull it back a little bit. Make it easier. Oops, I tore it. See, it's not a problem. While it's warm, this dough is rather forgiving. If it starts to stiffen up on you and become difficult to work with, you can take it out of the pan, of course, and put it in the microwave for just a few seconds to loosen it up. As you can see, I've smoothed it out to the edges here and tried to make it pretty. Sometimes I'm better at that than at other times. I've also pricked it with a fork like I'm doing here to keep it from bubbling up. This goes into a 400 degree oven for 6 minutes. And here's what it looks like when it comes out of the oven. I'm going to cool this on a wire rack, but look, it's just gorgeous. This one is also puffed up in spite of the little fork pricks I made. That's okay. It's also going to have layers. It's going to be very bready, I think, and this is going to be really good once we make a pizza out of it. Now here, just like with the almond flour crust, I want to flip it over before I make a pizza out of it. We're just going to be gentle with it. It's been cooling for about 5 minutes now, and as you can see, it's sturdy enough to pick up and do that with. Now, I'm not going to flip it around or throw it around the room or anything, but it's pretty substantial. You can see it's slightly browned over here. That's just what we want. Now, usually at this point, I taste whatever it is I've made in the video. In this case, I'm not going to do that because I'm going to make a lovely pizza out of this beautiful crust. Let me just take a moment to tell you a little bit about the differences between almond flour pizza crust and coconut flour pizza crust. The almond flour pizza crust, per 1/6 of the pizza, that's the size of serving I want to use here, is 320 calories and has about 5 grams of net carbs. The coconut flour crust has, for the same size slice, 156 calories or so and 2 grams of net carbs. So you choose, and you may like one better than the other. I don't know. I like them both very much. I hope you'll try these recipes out, and I also hope that you will like, share, comment, and especially subscribe to my channel. You know it helps my channel grow, and it helps you find my videos, especially if you click on that notifications bell. You'll know every time I upload a new video, which is usually 3 or 4 times a week. Thanks for joining us here today at Tim Talks Cooking. We'll catch you next time.